So thinking about what I wanted to give my kids, I thought a happy life, but I also said to Leslie, it's not that easy. I know, because in this highest point of my life, I had it the least, and the people I was seeing didn't necessarily have it either. So what did I do? I pulled the pen back out, pulled the keyboard back out, and I began writing a 300-page letter to my unborn child. I scanned through hundreds of positive psychology studies. I interviewed Fortune 500 CEOs, billionaires, athletes, politicians, world leaders, best-selling authors, trying to figure out, what is it? Can I put my finger on something? What if something happens to me? I want to leave happiness to my kids. How? I'm excited to share with you that 300-page letter that I wrote to my unborn children has just been published as the happiness equation. This is the letter I wrote to my kids, and in it are the 9 secrets or 9 things I learned that affect our happiness more than anything else. So, why are we all together today on this beautiful morning? Here's why. Because I would love to share with you the 3 biggest things I learned while doing all this research. I would love to share with you the 3 happiness secrets that I think about every single morning. These are the biggest 3 to me. Do you want to hear them? Are we ready? Okay, let's jump right in. So, secret number 1, I mentioned my parents were immigrants. How many people here are immigrants or have parents who came from another country? Lots of hands in the air, a majority of hands in the air. You know what our parents said to us? They said when we were kids, if you do great work, then you'll have a big success, and then you'll be happy. It's a simple model. It's the immigrant model. It's the parental advice model. You study really hard, then you get straight A's, and if you're East Indian, you go be a doctor, okay? Fail on that one, by the way. Or you work really hard, then you get promoted, then you're happy. You guys know this model. It's the model most people are brought up with. Unfortunately, it's completely backwards. It's completely backwards. Professor Sonia Lubomirsky at Stanford University did a meta-analysis, and she shows, instead, if you be happy first, then you do great work. You do great work after. Cover of Harvard Business Review last year shows, if you're happy at work, you're 31% more productive. You have 37% higher sales. You are 3 times more creative than your peers. It's huge at work. And then the big success comes later. So secret number 2, the secret to not being busy anymore, is to use them all to automate, regulate, and effectuate low time and low importance decisions. By the way, the goal is not to be perfect. You can't just look at this and be like, okay, that's easy to do. The goal is just to use this as a framework to be a little better than before. But you know what happens next? You end up bumping into your fears, The big change in the meeting, like I said, or the place you want to live, these are things that are hard to think about. They're hard to think about. We all have fears. We all have fears, whether it's the marathon you want to run or the novel you want to write. For me, my biggest fear my whole life, and it's embarrassing to admit this, was swimming, okay? Totally afraid of swimming. I had ear infections my whole childhood, so I had tubes my whole childhood. I had to get special Vaseline and cotton balls and a cap just to have a bath, And no wonder I developed a fear of water, I guess. But I ruled it out of my life. I said to myself, you know what? I don't need to cross any bodies of water in my life, There's no major river I need to get on the other side of, or lake I need to cross. I'm good. At the pool party, I'll hang out by the barbecue. I'm happy. I don't even own a bathing suit. I ruled it out. I said, I don't need this stuff. And you know why? Because I didn't think I could do it. I didn't think I could swim. I didn't have the capability. And I didn't want to do it anyway, so I didn't have the motivation. And so I never did it. Those are the 2 steps we place. You can call them barriers if you want, before we do anything in our lives. They're the 2 barriers. Capability is called can do. Motivation is want to do, and then there's doing it, okay? We place those barriers in front of our lives. We place those barriers. But you know what happened? On my second date with Leslie. Second date, right? So we already liked each other. We get to the second date, and you know what she says? She says, do you like swimming? I was thinking, I don't want to tell her I can't swim. I was nervous and embarrassed about it. And I didn't know what to say, so I thought I'd just play it cool. I was like, not really. Hoping she'd just let it ride, She didn't let it ride. Instead, she said, this is what she said, actual words, I can still hear it in my ears. That's too bad. You see, swimming is my favorite thing to do in the world. I love swimming. I'm in the water all summer. In fact, my whole family has a cottage that's been in our family for generations, and it's on an island. And every single morning in the summer, the 20 of us, my 80-year-old grandparents, my 5-year-old cousins, we jump in the lake and we swim around the island. She says, I guess you can't come. So that night, without thinking about whether I could do it or whether I wanted to do it, I just did it. I went and signed up for the local adult learn to swim classes run by the city, which is kind of a risk for a few reasons at the downtown pool. I go that first week with my goggles on and my life jacket and like walking out on the pool deck, and guess what's out there? 10 people who suck at swimming. None of us can swim. They're from landlocked countries. They've had more traumatic experiences than I have. We all sucked. Trust formed quickly. We grow up thinking that motivation leads to action. But instead, action leads to motivation. That's the way to build it up, and I really believe that if we do these things, then we and our teams and our organizations will all be happy people, and we will all be leading happier meetings. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.